master portraitist Greta Kempton is cited as an American Da Vinci. Kempton's work has been likened to Rembrandt, Renoir, and Cezanne. For decades, Greta was one of America's most successful but least heralded painters, until in 1947 she was commissioned to paint the official portrait of President Harry S. Truman. A prodigy in her native Vienna, Austria, Greta's early life and career are a catalog of the 20th century's highest artistic honors.
When Greta arrived in Los Angeles in the 1920s, she made her living as a portrait painter, and she's known to have painted the son of Hal Roach, who produced the Argand comedies, and that led to other commissions like painting Louis B. Mayer, who was the head of MGM, and Adolph Zukor, the head of Paramount, among many other commissions that she did while she was in Hollywood. In the 1940s, she was in Chicago and was commissioned to paint the official portrait of Cardinal Stretch. And that portrait now hangs in the Vatican Embassy in Washington, D.C. Greta was very smart in how she used her political connections.
Greta was very pointed about being in places where high society people were. Places like the Shoreham Hotel, which in Washington, D.C., which was the place to be seen. She happened to find a young, beautiful woman, and who knows whether or not she really knew who she was, but she approached that young, beautiful woman, who happened to have been Drew C. Snyder's daughter of the Secretary of Treasury. And she said, gee, I just love your eyes, or I love your face, and I would love to paint you. So through flattery, Greta found herself the opportunity to paint Drew C. Snyder.
So Greta painted Drew C.'s portrait, and that portrait was one that was used later on in an Avon ad that ran all over the country. Snyder was so impressed with this that he went to President Truman and said, maybe you want to have this woman paint your official White House portrait. Truman thought that, well, maybe this woman can only paint little girls, why don't you have her paint your portrait first? After Greta painted John Snyder's portrait, she had an unveiling party at which there were a lot of dignitaries and political people who had been invited to that, including Harry Truman. So when Truman saw John Snyder's portrait at that party, then he decided, this is the woman to do my portrait as well. And that portrait, as it turns out, was used in Truman's 1948 election campaign, and is also the one that ended up on the official U.S. stamp of Harry Truman.
Greta Kempton's portraits so delighted Truman that she was not only commissioned to paint more portraits of him, but of his wife, his daughter, and virtually the entire Truman cabinet.
Greta's paintings hang in some of the most prestigious places in the world. She has paintings in the White House, in the Smithsonian Institution, the National Portrait Gallery, the Truman Library, various colleges and universities. So there are hundreds, if not thousands, of other paintings that have yet to be cataloged. She did a lot of private commissions. She would also just paint people who she thought had interesting looking faces. And all of these paintings deserve to be cataloged and preserved for future generations.
And as our generation rediscovers Greta Kempton, her place among the elite of American painters becomes more obviously deserved. Each passing decade proclaims more eloquently than the one before that Greta Kempton is America's master portraitist.